Welcome to Momentum, a motorsports podcast powered by High Gear Success. I'm your host, Heather Wilson Schiltz. Here we share the stories and strategies that keep the world of motorsports moving forward. And today I'm chatting with Chase Bailey, an independent sales rep in the powersports industry. So Chase, thank you for joining me.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
So we actually had the pleasure of meeting at AIM Expo in California earlier this year. Seems like just yesterday, but that was in January, so almost half the year has gone by already. Yep. So how have things been going since then?
It has flown by. Work-related, life-related, everything is just 100 miles an hour, but it's good. Everything's great. Super happy, super blessed to be here where I'm at.
So kind of take a step back and walk us through where your initial love and interest of the industry came from.
Well, I started riding racing dirt bikes at 7 years old. So just immediately, my parents tried to get me into baseball, didn't want nothing to do with it. Soccer, nothing to do with it, nothing. All I wanted to do was be on a dirt bike. So I started that when I was 7. After I graduated, I actually went to the local community college, and I got my certificate in motorcycle mechanics just so I could just kind of know how to do some stuff on my own. Then I started working at the dealerships, and then went from a setup guy in the back, went to the parts counter, got moved to a parts manager position, and went from that dealership to another dealership, and here I am.
What were some of the biggest lessons or things that you learned during that time of working in dealerships?
Just how to build relationships with people, being able to just to understand them. And, if you have somebody call in and they're like, hey man, I need this bolt. Okay, well, let's figure out what you got, what kind of vehicle you have, what year we got, just being able to relate with people. And I've really been able to carry that, being able to relate to not only the dealership's customers, but being a parts person, being able to relate to now as a sales rep to the parts department and managers and everything like that. So it's definitely helped out a lot.
Yeah, I think relationships are huge. I mean, they always have been, but I feel like they're even more critical today when people have so many more options and people can mail order parts so much easier. Yeah. So really having that relationship is what brings people back to the dealership.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really agree. Even when I'm in the dealers, I try to talk to some of their customers and, ask them where they're getting their stuff. I know everybody loves Amazon, but I mean, it is killing the dealerships, your regular mom and pop dealerships and stuff. It might be a couple dollars more expensive and, you might have to get out of the house, but I mean, it's going to be really cool being able to go into the dealership, talk to somebody behind the counter. They can normally relate to what you're doing. I really like that a lot better. I always have. I don't like to order stuff online. I like to go to the dealership, talk to the guys, see how they're doing, check in on them. You just build way better relationships that way.
I totally agree. And I feel like going to a dealership too should be an experience that you look forward to. It's a reason to get out of the house and go hang out and see people. I much prefer, whether it's a dealership or just a small business in general, to get out and go talk to somebody that you have a relationship with. Of course, there are things that I order online, but it's not stuff that I can get from a small business or a dealer. Or if you're going into just a normal store, if you're going to Lowe's or something else, non-motorcycling related, you're not going to have a relationship with the sales associate there.
Yeah. I don't know Paul at Lowe's. I'm not going to go there just to talk to him. But no, I totally get it. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. So then you eventually transitioned out of working at the dealerships and into the industry on the sales side of things. So tell us how that evolution happened.
So at the last dealership that I was at, I don't know if you had the pleasure to meet Sid Humphreys. He's the one who started the PRA program. Sid was actually my Western Powersports rep at my last dealership. So we got pretty close at the last dealership I was at, outside of work wise, we were just got pretty good friends. And he knew that I was just ready to get on the other side of the desk. I was ready to get out. Loved being around dealership, but I just wanted something different. So yeah, he left, and then it was a couple of years. Yeah, and then he calls me up and he said, "Hey man, I'm starting this new project. I'd really like you to be the first person. I'd really like you to be a part of it." And yeah, that's how it started. So yeah, I give pretty much all the credit to him just for kind of getting me in this position, giving me the opportunity, because I mean, as you know, getting in the industry is super hard. There's sales rep, they're either let go or they just retire, and they have that job for forever. So good luck trying to get one, unless somebody that's leaving, and then they can put your name in there for you. But other than that, it's super hard. But no, I definitely give Sid all the credit in the PRA or the program. It's been awesome.
So you mentioned the PRA, which is the Powersports Rep Association. Can you kind of give some background on what that organization is doing for sales reps in the industry?
Yeah, so pretty much like I was saying, it's just it gives somebody the opportunity that doesn't have the outside sales experience, because normally when you go to an interview for any power sports company, they're normally going to go with somebody who has outside sales experience. You're left there thinking like, okay, well, I can't get any experience if I don't get hired. So the PRA, they've done an awesome job with, setting you up before you even start. They'll get you set up with 1 to 2 companies just to kind of get your feet wet. And then you just kind of take the ball running from there. So they give you the opportunity to build a name for yourself, get started in the industry as a sales rep, and just go on from there.
And as an independent sales rep, you're selling and representing multiple brands. You're not working for a specific manufacturer, company, or distributor. So some of those brands that you represent are FXR Racing, Phoenix Handlebars, dirt bike brands, the Corner Coach, Pacific Powersports, Factory Effects, Dirt Care, and FCP Racing. So that's like a whole portfolio there. How do you manage relationships with that many different brands and working with that many different companies?
It is tough. I will say that it's tough, but I kind of do it, and it's definitely been trial and error for sure. But thankfully, when I started with FXR, they pretty much I had some dealers already ready to go, so I just kind of picked up where the last guy left off. That's been super easy. Andy White at FXR has been such a big help. He's helped me out a lot with that. But I kind of do it based off the dealership. So like there's some dealerships I go to that are just strictly side-by-side dealerships. So if it's just a side-by-side dealer, I might just take my stuff in for, hey, this is all my stuff I have for dirt bag brands. This is all my stuff I have for Factory Effects. I really think this would do great here. And then, if you have a more motocross side of a dealership, I'm like, well, hey, this is everything that I have. I really think it would be great here. And, speaking on the relationships that I have with the parts managers, I can relate to them a lot, just because I did have some sales reps come in and be like, hey man, you need this and this and this. And I'm like, man, I really don't. And it's just not going to sell. So I really try to make it known that, like, I'm not just here to sell stuff. And, I want to make sure that they have everything that they need to, help them make a living. Like, yeah, it's great if they buy all this stuff off me, but if they buy it and it's not moving, it's not going to do anything. As long as everything is continuously moving, and if they have stuff that's not moving, I make sure I can switch it out. I give them some fresh stuff, so that they're not just sitting on stuff. But yeah, I just kind of take it dealership by dealership, depending on what they have, what they're selling is what I'm going to go in there, talking to them about and showing them product and samples and everything else.
Well, and I think that's what a long-lasting sales rep should be doing, is seeing what sells and what's going to work for that specific dealer, as opposed to just shoving product down their throat. Because,
yeah,
like you said, if it's not selling, they're going to probably resent you and they're not going to
Hmm.
buy anything else
Yeah.
going forward. So you
Yeah.
really want it to be mutually beneficial for both of you.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I mean, I don't want to go in there and, they spend $2,500 worth of their money in the product. Like, yeah, that's great for me, but it's just sitting there 3 months later and it's not doing anything. So, I don't want to be that guy that, just sells stuff and then, all right, see you later, guys. So no, I always want to try to make sure that I have a good relationship. I try to check in with them, my dealers, at least once a week, whether it be a phone call, email, or something. It's hard to get by to all of them, but I at least try to have some sort of contact. Um, just so that they see what's going on, see what's selling, see if they need any help, restock, just stuff like that.
How big is your dealer radius, like area that you service?
Yeah, so it depends on the brand. So mostly all of my brands, except for FXR. FXR, I am North, South Carolina, and Georgia. I've got a couple stores in Virginia, but there's another guy in Virginia that pretty much takes care of everything. That was just kind of grandfathered into my position from the previous guy. But with everybody else, it's North Carolina, South Carolina.
And are you on the road a lot with that, or do you kind of have some days at home that you're able to just make
So
phone calls and emails?
yeah, yeah. So normally all the dealers are closed on Mondays, so that's kind of my at home day, where I can try and catch up. I'll send out, promo emails, et cetera, trying to follow up on stuff from the following week. But yeah, normally Tuesday through Friday, sometimes Saturday. I don't like to go to the dealers on Saturday unless they need me to, just because that's normally when everybody goes, and I don't want to be that guy like, hey man, you need anything when there's 8 people at the counter. So I try to just text, see if they need me to come by. Of course I will, but normally just a Tuesday through Friday, I'm at the dealers.
Can you also explain how being an independent sales rep is different than working for like a manufacturer or a single brand as far as like how you get paid? Because I assume
Hmm.
that you may or may not have small base salaries from these companies. It's largely commission based, and
Well,
you're having to juggle a lot of different
yeah.
brands, not just like a base salary and a commission for one brand.
So I am 100% commission on every brand that I work for. I don't get paid for gas, hotel, like nothing. So everything comes out of my pocket. I've definitely learned to call before you haul and not drive 3 hours to a dealership and the parts manager not be there. Thankfully, Jason with Phoenix Handlebars and Josh Salazar with Dirtbike Brands, they have really helped me out at the AIM show. Um, Jason let me stay. I stayed at his house all week with him. So he pretty much adopted me for the week. Whether he wanted to or not, I was there. Brian Cornelius that works at Pacific Powersports, he got me my pass for the AIM show, so I was able to get in. But they've definitely helped me out a lot. And actually, we're getting ready to go back to California for the Sand Sports event in September. So Josh is nice enough to fly me out to be able to work that event in California in September. So that'll be a really good time. But as far as everything else, yeah, I just 100% commission. What I sell is what I make.
So pretty much being an independent sales rep is like owning your own business. I mean, you're
Yeah,
managing
yeah.
all the expenses, and to some degree you're managing, the revenue that comes in. So
Hmm.
yeah, I mean that's a big task, and as a small business owner myself, I'm the same way. If I have friends and connections in places where I'm going that I can stay with, like that's a
Yeah.
huge help. I was staying with a friend for I think I was out there like a week and a half during AIM Expo. Otherwise, that would have been a very expensive hotel stay in California.
Yeah, yeah. It's really cool. Like I like to be able to be out there with them. You talk to them all the time on the phone, but it's like there's nothing like being in person. So, yeah, Ryan Nitson that owns Corner Coach. He actually works for Cycle News as well. But yeah, he gives me a bike every time I go out there to go ride and stuff like that. So it's really cool. Once you're in this side of the industry, it's a lot smaller than you think it is. Like everybody knows everybody. And then when you're outside, it's just like, it's such a big world, but no, everybody knows everybody. I mean, we couldn't go 5 feet at the AIM Expo without stopping. Like every 5 feet, we were stopping to talk to somebody. I'm having a great time. This is everything that I wanted to do. I'm super happy. It is definitely tough though, being like 100% commission. And I mean, because there's some times where it's like, yeah, man, we don't need anything. I'm like, okay, cool, guys. Well, thanks, and I appreciate it. So it has its ups and downs, but I wouldn't trade it. I love it.
Do you feel like you kind of had the entrepreneurial spirit before jumping into this job, or has this kind of like taught you about it?
I mean, I've definitely had to figure some things out on my own. Sid definitely helped me as a sales rep. Because he came from North Carolina, South Carolina rep for WPS. So he's definitely taught me some stuff. Jason has definitely taught me some stuff because he used to work at Fox and MSR. I mean, honestly, everybody that I work for, they have been really great, helping me out, giving me suggestions, trying to get me started, helping me out when like I can't get somebody on the phone. They'll call them for me. If I can't get them, they'll eventually get a hold of them. So I will say that's one of the tougher tasks is trying to call everyone back with all the brands. So that is something like I'm still juggling, like trying to get a hold of, like get a good wrap on, but we'll get there. Eventually. And but it gets easier.
I don't know if you could answer this, but what are some of the reasons that these companies choose to have an independent sales rep instead of somebody that's in-house or putting their products through a distributor?
Some brands just like to have that own more independent style of things. Like FXR, they're dealer direct. Just like if you were to go to Fox doesn't have a distributor like Thor with PU or Fly with WPS. They're dealer direct. So I think it's really brand dependent. Obviously Factory Effects already goes through Parts Unlimited, but being dealer direct with Factory Effects, you get more items that you won't have access to with Parts Unlimited. I do think there's pros to being definitely dealer direct with the actual brand.
What do you think separates like a great sales rep from just an average one?
I think your relationship and communication with your dealers. If you don't have relationships, if you're just there just to sell stuff and leave and buy, I had reps like that, and I'm like, dude, I don't want them to ever come back. Just because they just came in, they would flop a catalog on my desk and be like, hey, I've got this stuff ready to order for you. And I'm like, yeah, man, I'm not getting it. I don't need it. Just a rep that comes by just to, not even just to sell stuff. Like, hey man, I was in the area, just dropping by, wanted to say what's up. Just relationships and communication. I feel like, I mean, even not even work related, just in life in general. Like if you have those two traits, that it takes you so far.
You mentioned catalogs too, and I remember the days, in my parents' dealership of getting these huge, thick catalogs. I'm not even sure if companies are really printing them anymore. But when you go in to introduce products to a dealer, are you taking a catalog? Are you taking your laptop and showing them there? Are you taking physical products to demonstrate and show them? How do you kind of like lead them into new products that you think would be a good fit for them?
Sure. So, again, kind of going back to, it'll be kind of dealership depending, right? So whatever they're selling is what I'm going to bring in. I'm not going to bring my whole backpack of stuff for every brand that I have just to show them. Because by the time that I'm there, we've already been on the phone, we've already had emails, and we've discussed the brands that they want to look at, samples that they want to look at. And I've already sent e-catalogs, so they already have it at their desk. So normally, if they're interested in the stuff, the catalogs that I do have paper-wise or a book or whatever, I will bring it so that they do have, they can give it to the parts guys. But yeah, normally just samples of stuff that they want to see. If I have actual physical catalogs, I will bring those so they do have. And if I don't have them, then I'll just print some out and bring it to them. So yeah, just dealer dependent. I'm still old school. I love flipping through a book. Like I remember being 7, 8 years old, getting a motorsport catalog and just flipping through it all day long. Just to look at the stuff. Yeah, so I'm definitely more old school. I like the paper books. So if I have them, I'm going to give them out for sure. I think if people like to just hold it in their hands and look at it, I feel like still.
I think it's a good reminder too, if they're setting it on the counter or even their desk, it's like, oh, hey, yeah, I need to take a look at that, or, oh, yeah, I did want to order that, versus we were just talking about, before this call, like you get so many emails sometimes, like you look at something and then it just gets buried.
It does. It just gets lost. Yeah. Or they'll have the email, they'll save they'll save the file, and then it's just locked in the computer. Unless you're looking for it, you're not gonna find it. Yeah, I agree with you.
What are some common mistakes that you see dealerships make when it comes to merchandising, inventory, sales? Like, how are you helping them kind of correct some things that maybe haven't been serving them well?
I tell this to every dealer, especially the parts counter guys, because normally they're just paid on commission. So every time that I go in, I'm like, learn what is on your floor. Like take the time, like when there's nobody in there, go and learn, like just go do some research on some of the products that you have. Obviously some of the stuff is going to be pretty self-explanatory, but like say for instance, like a dirt bag mirror. One mirror is going to fit 8 different models of side-by-sides. So if you have a customer coming in and they have a Yamaha Viking, you know exactly which one it is. You can show them everything that it fits. And then also, and this is something I tell the parts managers, along with some of the sales guys, it may look great on the shelf and in a box, but it's not going to sell itself. So unless it's either on a unit, sell it to a unit. That way, when somebody buys a side-by-side, it already has mirrors. It's already ready to go. There's a light mount on there. There's speaker mounts on there. It's already ready to go, and it's already in the deal. 9 times out of 10, they're going to be so stoked that they're getting it. They're not even going to see the extra $200 on the tag. So yeah, I think the main thing is I always just try to remind them, like, yeah, like I know it's probably tiring all the time talking to people every single day, but at the end of the day, this is your check. So learn your products. It's not going to sell itself. Go out there, explain it, and, just learn your stuff. Sell some of this stuff to a unit already because it looks better on a unit. Some people might not like how it looks in a box, but they like it better on the dirt bike or four wheeler or whatever. So I think that's a big thing I always try and talk about every time I go.
On the flip side of that, are there some dealerships that you've gone to that are like really standing out for doing something different as far as parts, accessories, or sales? Is there anything that comes to mind where you walked in and you're like, hey, that was a great idea?
I think a lot of the dealers that I go to, they do really good with their social media. Like if they do get new product, then they'll do some little like funny video about what it does, what's it for, talking about the product, or I mean, even if it's just a new unit. I actually had a buddy of mine that worked at a dealership a couple of years ago. He was a big fan of the Ducatis, and they had got like a brand new model in or something like that, and it was right around Valentine's Day, and they had set him on one side of a table up and the new Ducati up on the other side of the table with like a candle in the middle, and just like little stuff like that is, I think, if dealerships do more social media stuff, I mean, unfortunately, that's just the way it's going. It's like Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. It helps engage. And then if they do, they'll have like bike nights or customer appreciation days, like stuff like that. As long as they're engaging with their customers and showing customers that they do care about them, not just their wallet, I think that it goes a long way.
Yeah. I think events definitely are always a great opportunity to connect with customers. And then, like you said, social media, which, I work with a bunch of event promoters and racers to help them, get noticed and be on social media. And it is a full-time job. I mean, it is really something that takes a lot of time. So I realize a lot of dealers don't have a dedicated full-time marketing or social media person. But even if the different departments or people that are working there can pitch in just a little bit and do like one idea a week or something, it could really go a long ways.
It does. It does. Thinking about it off the top of my head, like there's one dealership I go to that the sales manager is the social media person, and she does a great job. I mean, great job. So I mean, even if, I agree with you. Even if there's not a one person that does it, at least have somebody that knows, first of all, knows how to do it, because it is hard. I can't do it.
In your experience being a sales rep, have you ever had a product that you knew was immediately going to be successful? Like a brand put something out and you're like, this is going to be a big seller. Is there anything that pops in your mind for that?
Yeah. So, it's kind of funny. I mean, it really doesn't have anything to do with the power sports industry at all. Ryan, that owns Corner Coach, so he has the seat bumps. Obviously, it's huge hit, big success with those things. They've really taken off. But he has also made koozies, like out of a seat foam, seat bump, the seat material, and I can't keep them in stock at any dealer that I go to. This is North Carolina, so we like beer a lot down here. We're a bunch of rednecks. Either the staff buys them before I can even put them on the shelf, or I'm getting a call, be like, hey man, I need another reorder, because they just sell. So I think it's just because it's so unique. When they go to grab a seat bump, they're like, oh my God, this is a koozie. And so they grab it with it. So that's definitely one for sure. FXR is just, obviously it's just gear. And but I will say FXR, they've done really good with their fishing stuff, especially since signing Malcolm Stewart. That's kind of launched it pretty high. So that
I don't even know about their fishing stuff. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, I'm still learning about it as well. Look, you may think I fish. I don't fish, deer hunt, nothing. If it doesn't have a motor, I'm likely not going to have anything to do with it. I have a couple of boat stores myself, and I go in there and I am blown away by how much people spend on like waders and life jackets and like UV shirts. It is something that I'm still learning and navigate as well, because I'm clueless when it comes to boats and stuff like that. But hey, I'm trying to learn. But yeah, so FXR, they obviously have their moto side, then they have their fishing side, then they have their snow side.
That's how I first came to know them, because I had a client for a couple years in snowcross, and when you went to snowcross events, literally probably 95% of people were wearing FXR. Like there was virtually no other snow brand, whether they were racing, whether they were just there as fans watching. Like that was what I knew them for. And then they've started like getting more into the moto side, and I've seen more of that. But the fishing thing, that was all new to me. So that's interesting. Is there a specific product or category that seems to be gaining a lot of momentum with riders?
Everybody always just loves when there's new gear releases. I know people that have had the same shirts for 10 years, but they will buy a new set of gear every time something drops. So that's always exciting. So I'm always getting hit up about when the new gear is dropping or new color releases. If I can show them, I'm like, dude, I can't. Sorry. But I gear is always number one. Just asking about it. Products, helmets, anything new. So I feel like, at least for where I'm at, everybody just always kind of gravitates towards that and wants to see new stuff and designs and patterns and everything else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense to me. if somebody was listening and they want to pursue a career in the industry, maybe even specifically as an independent rep, what advice would you give them to kind of break into the industry? Because I get this question a lot.
Yeah. If they don't have any relations, or sorry, let me backtrack. If they don't have any experience like actually working in a dealer, I would start there. I just think it obviously builds your knowledge if they're not already, but it builds your knowledge. You learn how to talk to people. You learn how to make relationships, get to know people on a personal level. Some like the interviews that I've had for some of the brands, they like that I have that experience, because even though that they've had reps for 10 years that are sales rep, they don't have that knowledge of being in the actual dealership other than just to sell something. So I will say, I mean, even if it's just 2 to 3 years, just go there, learn the ins and outs of it. And then, start with the PRA program. If something else doesn't reach out, try and make as good of a relationship as you can with all of your reps. Even if they are bad reps, try and make good relationships with them, because they might decide to leave one day and they can mention your name, try to get you, in the door and get you an interview. But yeah, I definitely think the dealership experience is number one, where to start.
I think it's good to have kind of a broad understanding or a solid foundation of the industry, like starting at the dealership level, because I mean, those are the people buying the products, right? And so no matter where you go from there in the industry, like that's your good base to relate to the consumer. So I think that's great advice.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Let's tell people where they can connect with you online. So whether it's social media or a website.
Yeah, so best way to get up with me, honestly, is just my Instagram. It's at ChaseBailey918. I use that just as much as I use my email, just to kind of get in touch with people. But other than that, my email, it's chase@phoenixhandlebars.com.
Really appreciate you being on the show, and it was great to reconnect after meeting at AIM Expo, and I look forward to your continued success in the industry.
Thank you, Heather. I really appreciate you having me on, and it's been really fun. So thank you again.
And thanks to everybody for tuning in to Momentum. This has been a production of High Gear Success. If you want to connect or recommend a guest, head to MomentumMotorsportsPodcast.com. Until next time, keep the momentum rolling.